morning, I am Jasmine Chances, and you're watching a special segment on NBC Bay Area. An intriguing association that has recently coalesced to empower the struggling Black community. This group refers to themselves as the Black Panthers. They are largely composed of young Black men from working-class neighborhoods. They appear in public dressed in military garb. Oftentimes, they are fully armed and are not afraid of displaying violence in the name of self-defense. The group originated in Oakland, California, under the leadership of Huey Newton. Today, the party has sprung into action throughout the United States. Who are these people? Where are they fighting for? And what threat do they pose to the safety of the American people? Huey Newton, as co-founder of the party, has agreed to be interviewed. We will discuss the inspiration of the founding of the party and the role militant actions played in that strategy. Mr. Newton, what are the primary goals of the Black Panther Party?
We want our brothers to stand up for their rights and defend themselves against a malicious police officer. We want to see our brothers obtain a college education and receive a decent job with a decent wage. We want to see those who worked so hard for so long finally have the opportunity to leave the slums. We believe all minorities must stop being treated as second-class citizens, but it is time to prove to white America that they will not stand up for that depraved treatment.
What has inspired your movement and desire for change?
We were all sick and tired of being openly discriminated against by the police, who abused their power to make our lives harder just because we were Black. We see student protesters being hosed down by police. We see white supremacists throwing food at sit-in protesters. Those racists refuse to change. They will not treat us fairly until they are forced to. The police won't stop killing innocent minorities until those minorities arm themselves and seize their right to defend themselves.
Why do you believe violence is necessary to achieve the Black Panthers' goals?
We want to fight the prejudice in the justice system, but saw that the peaceful methods of protest that Dr. Martin Luther King promoted didn't achieve those goals quickly enough. As my brother Malcolm X said, nobody can give you freedom. Nobody can give you equality or justice or anything. If you're a man, you take it. It's time for people of color to stop waiting for the system to change. We must take our power back into our hands, and we must change the system.
Where do you see the future of the Black Panther Party going?
The Black Panther is ravenous for change. He is tired of never being offered a decent job because of the color of his skin. He is tired of sending his children off to school with empty bellies. He is tired of seeing innocent lives shot to death by ruthless police officers. He is tired of working like a dog and never leaving the ghetto, never having anything to show for his efforts. He wants to see total equality for Blacks and other minorities and won't stop advocating until racism is eradicated and the Black man finally gets his piece of the pie. We will continue to fight until the suppressive government and justice system is reformed.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Mr. Newton. Thanks for having us today.
Oakland, California, 1966. Only 16 of Oakland's 661 police officers were Black. That's 2%. Huey Newton and his friend Bobby Seale, two African-American men who met at Oakland City College, joined the North Oakland Anti-Poverty Center to combat police brutality. There, they made connections with many who shared their ideas about Black power and were inspired to start their own Black political organization. In October of 1966, they wrote the 10-point program that outlined the ideologies of the Black Panther Party. 1. We want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our Black community. 2. We want full employment for our people. 3. We want an end to the robbery by the white man of our Black community. 4. We want decent housing, fit for shelter of human beings. 5. We want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. 6. We want all Black men to be exempt from military service. 7. We want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of Black people. 8. We want freedom for all Black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails. 9. We want all Black people, when brought to trial, to be tried in court by a jury of their peer group, or people from their Black communities as defined by the Constitution of the United States. 10. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people's community control of modern technology. The new Black Panther Party started circulating its own newspaper, the Black Panther, and soon the party began expanding to different cities across the U.S., including Boston, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. In 1967, the Black Panthers marched in protest in Sacramento against a California bill that prohibited the public carrying of loaded firearms. This bill would stop the Black Panther police patrols and was thus nicknamed the Panther Bill. It was passed despite their efforts. In 1969, the Panthers initiated the Free Breakfast for Children program in St. Augustine Church in Oakland. They would cook and serve food for impoverished inner-city children before they went to school, believing that children cannot reach their full academic potential if they have empty stomachs. This program spread to kitchens across the nation, and within a year, the Black Panthers were feeding approximately 10,000 hungry young students a day. The FBI accused the Black Panthers of using the breakfast program as a propaganda tactic. They were believed to be a communist party trying to overthrow the U.S., and J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI, stated that the Black Panthers were, quote, the greatest threat to internal security of the country, end quote. The FBI's COINTELPRO, or counterintelligence program, was instructed to neutralize the party by weakening its leaders and reducing its public support. To do this, they sent anonymous threat letters to gang leaders, claiming to be from the Black Panthers in hopes of starting gang wars. The FBI resorted to surveillance, police harassment, and even assassination to try to undermine the Black Panthers. One of the most publicized assassinations was the murder of Fred Hampton, chairman of the Black Panthers, on December 4, 1969. On that day, 14 police raided a Black Panther apartment, later claiming to have been searching for weapons, even though they themselves had brought along rifles and submachine guns. They claimed that the Panthers opened fire first, but firearm experts later confirmed that 80 shots were fired by the police and only one by a Panther. It took about 13 years of investigation to prove that the raid was an FBI operation to destroy the party. The party reached a peak of 10,000 followers in 1969, but the effects of the FBI's actions were felt through incarcerations, broken ties, and expelled members. By 1980, there were just 27 of the now endangered Black Panthers left.
Good morning, I'm Ana La Torre, and you're watching a special segment on NBC Bay Area. Tonight, our guest is Huey Newton, former leader of the notorious Black Panther Party that reached the peak of its power in the 1970s. We're going to get his perspective on the party, its legacies, and its future. So, what do you think led to the downfall of the Black Panther Party?
The FBI was responsible for the demise of the party, no question. We were the FBI's prime targets because they viewed us as a radical terrorist organization that was threatening the safety of innocent civilians. They had it all backwards, of course. We were protecting ourselves from the violent, corrupt police. So the FBI strategically dismantled the party by forging letters to members with the intent of pulling individual members apart against the party. These simple letters spurred up much internal hatred amongst members. The strong unity that once united us was falling apart. It's a shame that we allowed the political corruption to take precedence over our goals of empowering the Black community. We knew the FBI wanted us to fail, and we should have expected this kind of action from them.
And what do you think were the accomplishments of the party?
We brought awareness to the corruption of many urban police departments. In inner cities throughout the country, police officers were committing violent acts against innocent people of color on a daily basis. We united these minorities who were tired of being subjugated by the broken, unjust system by empowering them. We brought hope to those communities. We let them know that they didn't have to stand for this injustice. They had to fight for their rights. They couldn't wait for the racist government to give them those rights. When people are aware of their rights and what they must do to seize those rights, they suddenly become intolerant of this injustice from their government. In light of this, the party's lasting accomplishments are present in the services it provided to empower the beaten down, financially unstable minority. We funded education, specifically in economics and political science. We provide health service to the sick, as well as emergency response and ambulance programs. We also fed the hungry school children through the Panthers' Free Breakfast program. Since we believed it was necessary to defend ourselves against the discriminatory police, we gave lessons in self-defense. So we inspired a generation of minorities to be aware of their power and their rights.
And what were some of your regrets?
My only regret is that our efforts failed to make substantial, lasting changes. We brought awareness to police brutality and economic inequalities in America's inner cities, and this awareness did serve as a catalyst for the establishment of some much-needed social services. Unfortunately, though, these changes are simply not enough. There is still discrimination in law enforcement. Minorities still live below the poverty line and are often the least likely to receive a college education. We are still being beaten down by the same broken system that refuses to change. But we can't give up, and we shouldn't give up. Yes, I regret that we aren't as influential as we would have hoped. Yet the fight is not over. We must continue to fight for our rights until we have eradicated discrimination, and corruption from our communities.
Well, Huey, thank you for your time. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you.